I wake up to the sound of a television that isn't on. A thin electric hiss crawls through the room like breath through clenched teeth. The overhead light flickers in the corner of my vision. Fluorescent, sickly, the kind of brightness that makes you feel dirty. My tongue is cotton. My throat burns as if I've been screaming. I try to swallow and realize that I can't move. Leather straps bite into my wrists and ankles. My hands twitch uselessly, the restraint hardware cold against my skin. The bed beneath me is narrow and vinyl, squeaking when I strain. The sharp bite of disinfectant lingers in the air, failing to mask something older, heavier, already settled. Panic is immediate, sharp, bodily. "Hello?" I rasp. My voice hits the padded walls and comes back warped. The room is small, padded, once white panels stained by years of hands and sweat and something darker. A reinforced door faces me with a narrow window. The glass cloudy, like someone breathed on it 1,000 times and never wiped it clean. This is an isolation room. The thought arrives as if it had been waiting at the edge of my mind. I try to remember why I'm here. My mind offers up nothing. No name, no last night, no last year. Just an open, endless hallway. My heart hammers. I tug again. The straps creak. The leather is old, cracked. Whoever fastened them either didn't care or didn't expect me to be awake long enough to fight. I twist my wrist hard against the buckle. Pain flares. The strap slips 1/2 inch. Something scrapes on the other side of the door. I freeze. Not footsteps. More like nails dragged slowly across metal. A patient's boredom. A guard's ring against the handle. Something testing the boundary. "Please," I whisper, and I hate that it comes out like that. Thin. Small. Silence. And then a soft click. The overhead light surges, buzzes, dims. In the flicker, I catch something on the wall beside the bed, scratched into the padding with something sharp. Stay still. It likes stillness. My stomach tightens. I twist again, harder. The buckle gives. The strap snaps loose with a brittle pop that sounds like bone breaking. The wrist follows. Then my ankles. I sit up too fast and my vision swims. Dizzy. Weak. Like I've been asleep for a very long time. That, or I've been drugged. I rub my wrists. Deep red impressions circle them like bracelets. There's an IV bruise in the crook of my arm, yellowing, old. A patch patch of skin on my shoulder is tender where something adhesive used to be. I swing my legs over the side of the bed. My feet hit the floor. Cold seeps into my bones immediately. The tile is slick with condensation or cleaner. My toes curl instinctively. I go to the door. My hand hovers over the handle. The scraping sound comes again, faintly, from somewhere close, like someone dragging a chair across linoleum. I press my eye to the cloudy glass. At first, I see nothing. Just the corridor beyond, dim and long, lit by emergency lights that pulse like a heartbeat. Then a shape glides past the window. Not fully seen, just a blur of pale fabric and a suggestion of hair. A hospital gown. A patient. My breath releases a shaky, relieved exhale. I'm not alone. I pull the door open. It swings outward with a groan, like it's reluctant to let me go. The corridor smells worse than my room. Damp plaster, old antiseptic, something faintly sweet beneath it, like rotting fruit left in a closed cabinet. The hallway is lined with identical doors. Some are shut, some are open. Their windows cracked, their metal frames dented inward like someone tried to break out. A sign above the corridor reads, Ward C, Psychiatric Rehabilitation. The word rehabilitation has been scratched so many times it's nearly erased. My bare feet pad over the tile as I step out. The door behind me swings shut. Not gently, not by accident. It slams with a force that makes the walls vibrate. The sound travels, echoes, multiplies, bounces down other halls I can't even see. And somewhere, deep inside the building, something answers with a long, wet inhale. I stand still. Every hair on my arms lift. There's no wind, but the corridor seems to exhale cold air anyway, as if the place is breathing around me. Hello? I call again, louder this time. Is anyone here? My voice feels wrong in my own throat, like I'm wearing it. No response. Just the hum of dying electricity and the distant drip, drip, drip of water somewhere in the walls. And I start walking, because staying still feels worse. The emergency lights pulse red at the end of the hall. A security camera hangs from the ceiling, its lens dark, dead. The walls are covered in grime and half-torn posters about coping skills and medication schedules. Some doors have names written in black marker. Some have prayers. Some have tally marks. One door has a single word carved into the metal with angry, deep strokes. Doctor. I keep moving. I don't know why the word makes my stomach lurch. At the intersection ahead, graffiti blooms across the wall in thick, smeared strokes like it was painted with palms. Do you remember yet? I slow. My heart taps out a warning. The question feels personal in a way that it shouldn't, like it's aimed at me specifically. Remember what? As if the building hears my thought, a deep metallic clang rolls through the walls. Pipes, maybe. An old boiler. Something settling. Then, the screaming starts. Not one voice. Dozens. Layered, overlapping. Some high and thin, some low and wet. Some so distorted they don't even sound human anymore. The sound floods the ward through vents and cracks and seams, like the building is full of people pressed against the walls trying to get out. My legs decide for me. I run. Bare feet slap tile. The red lights smear. My lungs burn. I don't even know where I'm going. I just try to get away from the sound. A door at the end of the corridor is marked stairwell. I throw myself through it. The stairwell is pitch black except for a single flickering bulb near the bottom. The concrete steps are slick. The handrail is sticky with grime. I take the stairs two at a time. My head pounds with the effort, and in the thunder of my heartbeat, I almost miss it. A voice behind me. Soft, familiar, close enough to brush the back of my neck. Hey, it says. I spin, nearly slipping, but nothing is there. Just the empty stairwell yawning upward into darkness. My breath shudders out. No, I whisper, though I don't know what I'm refusing. I force myself down. At the next landing, I push through another door and spill into a new hallway. This one is different. The walls were tiled halfway up like an old clinic. Medical carts lie overturned. IV stands lean like skeletal trees. A gurney sits at an angle, as if it was shoved in a hurry and abandoned. The smell here hits me like a fist. Rot. Chemicals. Burnt hair. I gag and clamp my sleeve over my mouth. The emergency lights in this corridor glow steady red, like this section is locked in a permanent alarm state. The air is warmer, heavy, humid. Something drips from the ceiling. I look up. At first, I think it's a tarp, a hanging sheet. And then the sheet twitches. A body is suspended near the far end of the hallway, strapped into a restraint harness bolted to the ceiling. Its skin is gray and stretched like it's been drained. Tubes snake from its chest into the ceiling tiles like veins feeding the building. Its head lolls, and then it raises, slowly, mechanically, and the empty socket where an eye should have been turns toward me. Its mouth opens, and it screams. The sound isn't fresh. It's looped, stuttering, like a recording, playing through ruined vocal cords. The scream cuts off abruptly, restarts, cuts off again. A broken alarm. I stumble backwards, slipping in something wet. My heel goes out from under me, and I hit the floor hard, hips slamming tile. Pain flares. The air erupts from my lungs. Hands grab my ankle, and I scream. A figure dragged itself out from beneath a gurney, pulling itself forward with arms that bend wrong. Its hospital gown hangs off of its body in strips. Its jaw is split down the middle, the bone forced apart like someone tried to open it too far and kept going. It grips my ankle with fingers worn down to the bone. Its mouth works, tongue clicking wetly between the ruined halves of its jaw. You, it croaks, voice like gravel in a blender. Remember. I kick wildly. My foot connects with its shoulder. It doesn't flinch, just tightens its grip. The hallway lights pulse once. In that instant, the figure's face is lit fully, and I see the scars, clean, surgical lines mapping its cheeks and forehead. Stitching, staples, precision. Not the jagged wounds of an accident. A procedure. My stomach heaves. I kick again and wrench my ankle free, skin tearing. I scramble backward, palms sliding on slick tile, then get my feet under me and sprint down the hall. Behind me, more movement. A cabinet door creaks open. Something drops from a vent with a wet slap. A wheezing laugh bubbles from somewhere low. I don't look back. A door on my right is cracked open, light spilling through it. A colder white in a red gloom. I slam into it and shove my way inside. The door closes behind me with a heavy thunk. I find myself in a massive treatment room. Operating tables line the floor in rows. Old surgical lamps hang above them like interrogators. Leather restraints curl on the ends of the tables like dead snakes. Cabinets line the walls, some open, their shelves empty. On one table, a tray of instruments sit neatly arranged, dusted with gray. As if waiting. My breathing is too loud. It fills the room, echoes off tile. I force myself to move quietly, to think. There's a desk near the far wall. On it, scattered folders, clipboards, a single desk lamp, dead. Behind it, a corkboard covered in diagrams of the human brain and typed notes. The notes are dense, clinical, familiar in a way that makes my teeth ache. I step closer. My eyes catch on to a phrase. Subject response. Inconclusive. Another. Increase stimulus. Document vocalization. I don't know why, but my hands start shaking. No memories, my mind reminds me. But my body recognizes this language like it's a lullaby. A folder lies open on the desk. The paper inside is curled at the edges. The top page is stamped with faded ink. Admission evaluation. The name line is smudged beyond readability. The rest is legible. It describes a man found wandering, disoriented. Possible dissociative episode. Amnesia reported. Patient denies knowledge of incident. I swallowed hard. That's me. It has to be. Relief washes through me, thin as it is. Proof. Something solid. My fingers brush the next page. The photograph slides free. Polaroid. Old. I pick it up. The image shows a person strapped to a chair in this very room. Their head is shaved. Electrodes are embedded into their scalp. Their mouth is open in a frozen scream. I stare until the edges blur. A noise behind me. A soft, wet shuffle. I whirl. Nothing. Just the red-lit room. Rows of tables, cabinets like black mouths. My heart pounds. I tuck the photo back into the folder with trembling fingers and back away from the desk. That's when I notice the mirror. A large observation mirror sat on the far wall. One-way glass. The kind doctors watch patients through. I cross to it, drawn like a moth to flame. My reflection swims faintly in the dark surface. I lean closer. My face is pale. There's dried blood at my hairline. A bruise blooms along my jaw. Stubble shadows my cheeks. I look normal. Just a person. Just a patient. Then the emergency lights flicker, and for half a second, the mirror doesn't reflect only me. Behind my shoulder, I see someone else. A man in a white coat, standing close enough that if he breathed, I'd feel it. I whip around, choking on fear. The room is empty. When I look back at the mirror, my reflection is alone again. But I can't shake the sensation that something is behind the glass, watching with interest. I back away from the mirror. The door I came through rattles. A soft knock. Once. Twice. Then fingernails dragging slowly down metal. The sound from earlier. The handle turns. My mouth grows dry. The door opens a crack. A sliver of hallway spills red light into my room. And a face presses into the gap. It's not a face in the way faces should be. Skin stretches too tight across the bone, like it's been pulled and stapled. Eyes are cloudy, milk white, as if they've been boiled. The mouth is stitched into a smile that curls at the corners. It tilts its head. "Patient," it whispers. The word is soft, affectionate, like a nurse checking on you. My legs lock. Every instinct screams run, but my body doesn't obey. The thing's stitched smile widens impossibly. "You're awake," it says. The voice is wrong. Too many voices layered under it, like a chorus trying to speak through one throat. I force my feet to move. I sprint between operating tables, dodging restraints, slipping on dust. The thing pushes the door open wider, stepping into the room with a slow, deliberate gait, as if it knows I'm trapped. More knocking sounds from the other doors in the room. Cabinets creak. Something scrapes inside the vents overhead. I don't think. I just run for the far exit. My shoulder slams into the push bar. The door flies open into another corridor. I stumble through, and the door slams behind me. I don't stop. The asylum is a maze built from abandonment and rot. Hallways branch into hallways. Doors lead to stairwells that lead to locked gates and that lead to dead ends. My bare feet sting from broken glass and grit, but I don't feel it properly. Pain is distant compared to the fear. The building keeps speaking. Not with words at first, with sound. A muffled sob from a room I pass. A soft chime of a nurse call button that shouldn't have power. A rhythmic tapping in the walls like a heartbeat trying to escape. And then the whispers start. At first, they're indistinct. Breath behind me murmurs in vents, my name almost forming. But I don't know my name, so how can I hear it? I duck into a smaller corridor and press my back against the wall, just heaving, trying to listen. Somewhere, something drags itself across tile. Slow, patient. Something else moves faster, skittering in the ceiling. I press my hands to my head like I can hold my thoughts in place. Okay, I whisper to myself. Okay, you're a patient. You're lost. You need to get out. Get out. That's the goal. Simple, human, real. I move again. Quieter now. I pass a nurse's station with broken monitors and a chair overturned. A bulletin board behind the counter holds laminated emergency procedures. One flyer is half torn, but the title remains: Evacuation Protocol, Active Threat. Active threat. My gut twists. This place didn't just close. It emptied violently. I check drawers behind the desk, desperate for anything. A phone, a radio, a key. I find a key card on a lanyard tangled in a drawer. The name badge attached to it is smeared with dried brown stains. I wipe it with my sleeve. The photo is scratched out, eyes gouged, but the text beneath is readable. Dr. A. The last name is scraped off. Under it, attending physician. My hands go numb. No, that can't be right. Anyone could have grabbed this. A patient could have stolen it. A staff member could have dropped it. It doesn't mean. A heavy thud sounds behind the counter. I jerk my head up. A figure rises slowly from behind the station like it's unfolding itself. A woman in a nurse's uniform, but the fabric is soaked and clings to her body like skin. Her neck is too long. Her head lists to the side at an angle no living spine would allow. She smiles at me. Her lips peel back, showing gums more than teeth. You found it, she says softly. I back away, bumping into the desk. No, I whisper. I am not. I don't. You always did like badges, she croons. The fluorescent lights above the station flicker. Her smile widens. You liked the way they made you feel. My breath comes in sharp, shallow pulls. She steps forward without moving her feet, gliding like the floor carries her. I bolt. The corridor ahead blurs. I slam through a door and nearly fall down a short flight of stairs into the lower levels. The air grows colder, wetter. The smell changes. Less antiseptic, more earth. I land in a basement corridor lined with old storage rooms. The walls sweat, the pipes overhead drip steadily, and somewhere water runs. I see signs painted above doors. Records. Morgue. Therapy pool. My stomach clenches at morgue. I shouldn't go in there. But the corridors behind me echo with soft, dragging sounds. I don't have time to choose safe. I choose hidden. I shove the morgue door open and slip inside, pulling it shut behind me. The room is darker than the halls, lit only by a faint blue glow from an emergency exit sign. Stainless steel drawers line the walls like filing cabinets for the dead. The air is ice cold. My skin prickles. My breath fogs. I stand still, listening. Outside the door, the dragging stops. A pause. Then fingernails scrape slowly down the metal. The knob turns gently, as if whoever is outside is being polite. I clamp a hand over my mouth to keep from making a sound. The door opens a fraction. Light spills in. A shadow stretches across the floor. A voice whispers, fond and cruel. Doctor. My chest tightens so hard, I think my ribs might crack. The door closes again. Footsteps retreat, slow and deliberate, not searching wildly, circling. I remain frozen until my legs shake. Then, because I can't just stand here and wait for whatever's hunting me, I move deeper into the morgue, toward the far wall. A desk sits in the corner with old paperwork scattered across it. A computer monitor, dead. And a clipboard. On the clipboard is a form. I lift it with stiff fingers. Autopsy report. The name is typed clearly. Alice S. No, not Alice, not my Alice. Just a name that echoes like a bruise. Cause of death: cardiac arrest during procedure. Notes: subject displayed extreme fear response. Vocalized, "Please stop," repeatedly. My eyes flick down. Signed at the bottom in neat cursive. A signature that makes my stomach flip. It's my handwriting. I don't remember writing it, but my hand recognizes the way your tongue recognizes your own teeth. I drop the clipboard like it burns. No, I whisper again, because it's all I have. The morgue drawers begin to rattle. At first, I think it's vibration from the pipes. Then one drawer slides open by itself with a metal streak. A pale hand flops out, limp. Then another drawer opens, then another. The room fills with sound of metal on metal. Drawers swing open like mouths. Something inside one of the drawers laughs softly. A small, childish giggle. My blood turns to ice. I stumble backward toward the morgue door. It won't open. I yank the handle. It rattles. Locked. Panic explodes. I slam my shoulder into it again and again. On the third impact, something grabs my ankle from beneath the drawer. Cold fingers, too many joints, grip like a vice. I scream and kick free, skin tearing, and stagger away from the center aisle between drawers. The blue exit sign flickers. For a moment, the room goes almost completely dark. In the darkness, I hear them moving. Not like bodies, like insects. Like something skittering, crawling over steel. The blue light returns. A figure stands at the end of the aisle. Not tall, not large, but wrong in a way that makes my instincts recoil. It wears a patient gown, but the fabric is stitched into its skin. Its limbs are too long, elbows bending backward. Its face is smooth in places, like skin stretching over missing features. Where its eyes should be are surgical holes, ringed with staples. Its mouth is a narrow line, until it smiles. The line splits open into something far too wide. It lifts a finger to where lips would be and makes a shushing sound. And then it speaks, voice soft as cotton. You told us not to scream. A drawer slams shut behind me, then another. The room becomes a chorus of metallic impacts. The figure takes one step forward, and the drawers begin to slide open in sequence, one after another, like the morgue is unfolding a path for it. I search desperately for anything to use. My eyes land on a metal tray by the desk. Scalpels and forceps lay inside, dull with age. I grab the tray and fling it. Instruments scatter and clang. The noise explodes in the cold room like a gunshot. The figure flinches, not from fear, but from delight. It tilts its head as if savoring the sound. Loud now, it murmurs. The morgue door clicks, unlocking. Not by my hand, by something else deciding. I don't wait. I throw myself at the door and burst into the basement hall. The dragging sounds return immediately, closer now, like the building has shifted its hunters into place. A sprint. I don't know how long I run. Time becomes a smear of red lights and corners and stairwells. Somewhere, I find a corridor that feels different. Cleaner. Not clean, but less dead. The emergency lights here are white instead of red. The air is less humid. My breath doesn't fog up as much. I slow, chest heaving, and notice the doors. They're labeled with patient names and numbers in neat black letters. And beside each name is a smaller metal slot, like a viewing panel. I approach one, drawn by something I can't name. Through the slot, I see a room, a bed, a person sitting on it. They're facing away from the door, shoulders hunched, hair hanging like a curtain. They aren't moving. I lean closer. "Hello?" I whisper. Slowly, the person turns. Their face is half covered in gauze, stained dark. One eye is visible, wide, glossy, fixed on me with terrible clarity. They smile, gauze pulling at the corners. "You're out," they whisper. I recoil. "Who are you?" The person's visible eye blinks slowly, almost tender. "I was 12, they said, "when you said I was brave." My head pounds. Images flash behind my eyes, gloved hands, a child's voice, a bright lamp overhead. I clutch my temples. "No," I whisper. "Don't, I'm not." The person stands. Their movements are stiff, like joints stuck with old pain. They step closer to the door until their gauze-covered face fills the slots. And then, in a voice that sounds like it's coming from the vents and the pipes and my own bones, they say, "Do you remember what you called us?" My throat tightens. "Patience." Their smile splits the gauze further. "Subjects," they correct. The lights in the corridor flicker. Every door along the hall begins to rattle. Not one. All of them. As if every room suddenly has hands on the inside, pushing. The building hums in anticipation. I back away. The rattling grows louder. Handles jiggle, metal clanks, a chorus of doors begging to open. The person behind the slot whispers, almost kindly, "Run, doctor." The word hits me so hard I stumble. "Doctor?" No, I turn and sprint again, because if I stop, I think I'll break. I end up in an administrative wing. I know it without knowing why, because the wallpaper is old and peeling in a pattern that belongs in offices, not wards. There are framed certificates on the walls, glass cracked, a waiting room with chairs overturned. A reception desk stands ahead, and behind it, a door marked "Staff Only." Hope sparks. Real hope. Exits are usually here. Fire doors, back stairwells, parking lots. I slam through the staff door. The air changes again. Warmer. Drier. I find myself in a corridor lined with offices. Some are empty, Some have papers scattered like someone fled mid-thought. One door stands slightly ajar, a sliver of darkness inside. A nameplate is bolted to it. The letters are tarnished, but readable. Dr. A. The last name is scratched away again, like the badge. My legs slow on their own. My pulse roars in my ears. No, it's coincidence. It's the asylum messing with me. It's... A soft sound comes from inside the office. A chair creaking like someone shifting their weight. I should keep running. I should find an exit. I should ignore this door like you ignore a dark basement in a horror movie. But something inside me insists. This is the missing piece. My hand reaches for the knob before I can stop it. I push the door open. The office smells like old books and dried ink and something metallic. A desk sits against a far wall. A coat rack in the corner holds a white coat, hanging perfectly straight despite the decay around it. Behind the desk is a bookshelf filled with binders. On the wall above the desk is a large framed photograph. It shows a group of people standing outside the asylum. Staff, nurses, administrators. And in the center, wearing a white coat, smiling slightly at the camera, me. My knees go weak. I grip the door frame to keep from collapsing. My face in the picture is younger, but unmistakable. The same jawline, the same eyes, the same expression I'm wearing right now. Confused, guarded, like I'm always expecting something to go wrong. My memory lurches. Flashes, quick, brutal. A hand tightening a strap, a voice saying, "Hold him down." A bright lamp, a scream that turns into a gurgle. I stagger forward, dizzy. On the desk is an open notebook. Neat handwriting fills the pages. My handwriting. I don't want to read it. I read it anyway. Project goal. Identify thresholds of fear response to stimulate compliance. Note. Subjects respond best when told they are being helped. Observation. They will believe anything if they think you're the doctor. My stomach twists violently. I clamp a hand over my mouth and swallow bile. There's a keycard on the desk. Cleaner than it should be. Newer. Beside it is a small digital recorder. A sticky note is attached. In my handwriting. Play me when you wake up. My fingers hover, tremble. Outside the office, the corridor is silent again. Too silent, like the building is holding its breath. I press play. Static crackles, then a voice. My voice. Clearer, calmer, older than the one in my throat right now. If you're hearing this, you did it again, the recording says. My skin goes cold. You always do it again. When the guilt becomes too loud, you let the treatment erase you. You call it mercy. You call it escape. But it's cowardice. The recorder clicks softly as it continues. You're not a patient. You were never a patient. A sound outside the office. Soft footsteps, slow and deliberate. The recording goes on, merciless. You were the attending physician for Ward C. You conducted unauthorized trials. You labeled people subjects because it made them easier to hurt. The footsteps pause right outside the door. My mouth opens, but no sound comes out. You told yourself it was for science, my recording says. You told yourself you were making discoveries. You told yourself their pain meant something. The office door creaks. Something leans into the gap, just enough for me to see a sliver of pale skin. The recording continues, steady as a heartbeat. But you weren't curing anyone. The sliver becomes a face. A nurse's face, stretched and stapled, eyes milk white. She smiles gently, like a mother about to tuck you in. You were experimenting, the recording says, torturing, breaking them until they became. A chorus of whispers rises behind the nurse, seeping through the hallway like fog. Like this. The nurse opens the door wider. Behind her, the corridor is full. Shapes crowd shoulder to shoulder, patient gowns hanging off bodies that have been altered, stitched, scarred, rebuilt. Faces warped by procedure, limbs wrong, eyes missing, mouths too wide. They aren't rushing. They don't need to. They look at me with the calm certainty of people who have waited a very long time. And all of them recognize me. My recorded voice speaks softly, almost tender now. They remember everything you did. The nurse steps into the office. She holds up something small in her hand. A badge. A clean, intact badge. My photo. My full name. Not scratched out. Not smeared. Dr. Adrian Keller, attending physician. My vision tunnels. The nurse's voice overlays the whispers, warm and sweet. You made sure they couldn't forget, she says. So why should you get to? I stumble backward until I hit the desk. The recorder keeps playing. You thought the worst part was their screams, my recorded voice says. It wasn't. The creatures step forward as one. Not attacking. Not yet. The worst part, the recording says, was when they stopped screaming. My hands scramble on the desk for anything. A weapon, a key, anything. My fingers brush the white coat hanging on the rack. In the pocket is a syringe in a sealed wrapper, yellowed but intact. A note is taped to it. For emergencies, one last reset. I stare at it. The creatures watch patiently, like they've seen this decision before. My recorded voice whispers from the device, almost pitying. You can forget again, and they'll still be here when you wake up. The nurse tilts her head. Her neck bends at an angle no human should manage, and she smiles wider. We don't mind, she says. We have time. The office lights flicker. In the flicker, I see another memory. Clear, sharp, undeniable. Me standing in the treatment room, hand on a patient's forehead, saying softly, "Stay still. It likes stillness." I look down at my wrists, at the strap marks, and I realize the truth with sick certainty. The straps weren't meant to keep a patient from escaping. They were my own insurance, my own ritual. I did this to myself again, because it was easier to wake up terrified and innocent than to live knowing what I'd done. The creatures take another step. I lift the syringe with shaking fingers, and for a single heartbeat, I consider plunging it into my arm, letting the fog roll in, letting the hallway go blank again. Then a voice whispers from the crowd, small, cracked, familiar in the way nightmares are familiar. I begged you. I look. A figure in front, shorter than the others, wrapped in a hospital gown too big for its frame. Its face is half covered in gauze stained dark. The same one from the cell slots. One glossy eye stares at me. It lifts its hand. In its palm is a small, childish drawing, crayon on paper. A stick figure in a white coat, towering over smaller stick figures on beds. Above it, written in shaky letters, "You hurt us." My throat tightens so hard I can't breathe. The syringe slips from my fingers and clatters to the floor. The nurse exhales, pleased. "That's better," she murmurs. Then the crowd surges in, not violent, not frantic, but inevitable. Hands take my arms, my shoulders, my legs. Cold, strong, relentless. And then I close my eyes. Not because I think I deserve it, but because I am what I am. A coward.